Visit tcgcastle.com and get 5% discount on your purchase with TCGcenter 5 code. Send us your bulk in exchange for Evolution Booster Box. Visit CCG Castle or check video description to learn more. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode on Pokemon TCG Center YouTube channel. So today we'll be looking at the deck for the standard format, and this is my Marowak Break build. So Marowak Break featuring some evolutions and Carbink Break. So probably a lot of you should say you can't use your Marowak Break with the evolutions because it's a break evolution. That's correct. You can't use your evolutions with the Carbink Break. That's correct. But there's a catch. As long as our opponent is not taking a lead with the prize cards, we definitely want to use Marowak with the evolutions. Marowak Break is just a pure tech here, basically to strike for 20 plus 40 when our opponent takes to use at least 3 prize cards. Then we can have 140 base damage with the Bone Revenge, and with 2 strong energies that can be 180. So that's the reason why Marowak Break is going to be in play after your opponent takes 2 or 3 prize cards. There is no reason to run it pretty much earlier. But earlier in the game, with any kind of Flareon, Jolteon, and Vaporeon, we can strike our opponent for the weakness. So for example, Darkrai can actually be strike for the weakness with the Bone Windmill. Let's say we have 2 strong energies for 200. It's not going to be enough if there's a Fighting Fury Belt for the knockout, but we can actually retreat down to the Carbink. And with the Safeguard, we can just prevent him from dealing any damage. The good thing is that we can also add 20 more damage with Giovanni's scheme, so we can one-hit knock out those Pokemons like the Darkrai X with the Fighting Fury Belt. On the other side, any grass Pokemon will be affected with Flare effect, so they're going to be attacked for the weakness. Any Pokemon that are actually weak on the water, like a Volcanion EX, are going to be pretty much one-hit knocked down by the Vaporeon and Marowak combo. And those Evoltals are going to actually be one-hit knocked out with the Jolteon electric effect. So basically, you can counter with this deck any popular deck in the current standard format. The biggest problem for this deck is definitely going to be Greninja Break, but trust me, even Greninja Break is not unbeatable. If your opponent managed to get bad draw, you can always win him. I mean, even if he can get good draw, if we can actually control him with the Hex Maniac and those XP shares and a smart play and a little bit of luck, we can easily win even Greninja Break deck. So, 20 Pokemons, 30 trainer cards, 10 energies. The first thing you should probably notice here, I'm not running Trainer's Mail. I don't need Trainer's Mail because I'm running 4 copies of End, 4 copies of Sycamore, 1 Giovanni scheme. Maybe at the beginning of the game I'm going to lag a little bit, but where I managed to set up my Octillery and managed to pull more cards, I'm going to be just perfect fine. So, 2 Eevees, 1 of each evolutions, 2 Carbinks and 1 Carbink Break for the Diamond Gift, so I can even recycle energies from my discard pile back to my Marowaks on the bench. Of course, 4 Cubons, and then I'm running 2 copies of Marowak with this Bodyguard because it's a very good ability, but the Bone Meringue is a much stronger attack than just that Bone Windmill, because I can flip 2 coins, and basically with 1 coin I can go for 100, with 2 coins I can go for 200 or 400 damage. So I really like it, depend on the, of course, weakness on my opponent Pokemon. And with the another Marowak, I can just go with the Bone Windmill for 60, and if my opponent active Pokemon is the EX, I can just retreat down to the bench, which is just perfect and strong. 2 copies of Marowak Break with the Bone Revenge. This attack will do 40 more for each prize card your opponent has taken. So if our opponent took 4 prize card, we can have Bone Revenge for 180, which is just very powerful. Marowak Break, definitely very underrated card. 140 HP, perfect HP, because it cannot be one-hit knocked down by the Chaos Wheel, but the Moonlight Slash, by a lot of different strong attacks actually that are popular in the game. Even Volcanion EX are not going to be capable to knock him out with a single shot without Fighting Fury Belt if we play Hex Maniac, for example. So, a single line of Octillery, of course, for a Beazle Hand, and then we're moving on to the item cards. 1 copy of Level Ball, because a lot of Pokemons here. I would love to have more Level Balls, but even 1 in addition for 4 Ultra Balls is just great. A Special Charge, you know, sometimes we might not be able to use Carbink, so being able to recycle Strong Energies makes a lot of sense. 2 Super Rods need to have in this build because we're running too much Pokemons and we just depend on the Pokemon, so we need to have Super Rods to recycle them back. 4 Ultra Balls, 4 VE Seekers, no Trainers Mails. Moving on to the supporter cards, so 2 copies of Brigette. Very important, so I can set up turn 1 properly with the Brigette. For Eevee, for Cubone, for Remoraid, so I can turn 2 have my Evolution in play, another Marowak, Octillery for a Beazle Hand, or even Carbink for the Carbink break if I need it. Copy of Giovanni's scheme, draw cards until you have 5 or add 20 damage, 1 copy of Hex Maniac to counter those Greninja breaks and any other Pokemon that needs to be countered with the Hex Maniac. Copy of Lysandre, would love to have 2 of them, but unfortunately can't. Then I'm moving on to the 4 copies of N. So basically, as much Ns I have in the late game, I'm gonna have bigger advantage because I can just simply put my opponent down to 1 or 2 cards, where on the other side I can have a Beazle Hand and get myself from the bad position with just maybe 1 card or something like that. Pokemon Ranger, always need to have to counter those Jolteons, Giratinas and stuff like that, Crystal Ray Glaceons. 4 Sycamores for the drop, and then very important 2 XP shares so I can actually keep the pace in the game when I lose one of my Marowaks, so I can just attach single energy from hand and be able to use again Bone Windmill or Bone Boomerang. 2 Float Stones for the free retreat, 10 energies in total, 4 Strong Energies for 20 extra damage, and 6 Fighting Energies. If you're looking for any of these cards, you can find them on ccgcastle.com as usual. With TCG Center 5 code, you can get 5% discount on your purchase. So if you're looking for any of these cards, you should definitely check my video description and make sure to buy any of these if you need. So let's do a game test so you can actually see this deck in action. Okay guys, so the game number 2. I'm starting with my Cubone. But the perfect thing is that I have Brigette sitting in my hand. On the other side is a Greninja. So playing against Greninja break is gonna be so hard. I can definitely tell that probably I'm going to lose this because, you know, it's just Greninja break and it's very hard and very difficult to play against it. I don't even have my Remoraid here, so Remoraid is priced. And I'm going to cry here. At least I can get myself, you know, Carbink, Cubone, and Eevee on the bench. Let's just add that Float Stone onto my Carbink. More than that, I can Ultra Ball, I guess, for 1 more Cubone. Let's just Ultra Ball for 1 more Cubone. Let's see, or maybe, yeah, just for 1 more Cubone. I really miss the energy attachment here, so I'm not going to be able basically to knock out my opponent next turn, which is very bad because I really need those prize cards. On the other side, I can have next turn just, you know, VE Seeker for Professor Sycamore and 7 new cards. That's pretty much it. I don't want a Vaporeon in play because it's just a water type. I would love to get actually here a Jolteon because Jolteon makes more sense. It can simply, okay, there's a bubble. I'm not paralyzed. Okay, 1 XP share down to my another Cubone. VE Seeker for Professor Sycamore. In theory, I was even able to dump my opponent here if I had my energy, 2 energies. Oh no, you gotta be kidding me. What is going on here? Just another Cubone. And 1 Strong Energy for my active Cubone. Another XP share. And that's pretty much it. I'm passing my turn without Marowak in play. I wish I even managed to get Marowak so I can deal some damage to his Froakie. But at least I have that Strong Energy attached to it. So, you know, next turn I can knock out one of his Frogadiers. Still, I need to get somehow my Marowak in play, and basically I need to get my Marowak break also in play, but I need to get as fast as I can that Hex Maniac so I can just prevent him from dealing those crazy and annoying, you know, John Water Shurikens. So this is going to be Carbink break, and unfortunately for me, I need to discard my Sycamore and the VE Seeker. And still no Marowak. Oh my gosh. Don't tell me I'm going to hit Okay, at least I managed to knock out his Frogadier, but I'm going to cry because right now he can knock out my Cubone and take prize. Come on, at least there's a Hex Maniac, at least something. At least something, but still, there's a Greninja, and right now I need to strike twice that Greninja to knock him out instead of just the once. And this actually puts me in a very, very uncomfortable zone. But okay. Okay, it's still not over. It's far from over. There's Ultra Ball for another Greninja. Right now he can have two. But the problem is that I could knock out one of his Greninjas here. And right now I can't do that. I can just pretty much strike for the 60 next turn. Oh no, there's even Bursting Balloon. And then, come on. It was so good at the beginning, but lately... okay, never mind for that. At least I have 2 XP shares, so I'm gonna be able to preserve one of these energies onto my Cubone to bench. So, what's the best option to do here? I guess top deck energy and go with my Carbink, but it looks like that's not gonna happen. So, Level Ball, maybe for the Jolteon. You know, we'd have for retreat, so I guess I can retreat with him. But the problem is that I don't have energy card here, and without energy, I simply cannot attack. So I need 2 cards. I need energy and Marowak. If I discard my Hex Maniac, that means that I will have maybe 1 more Hex Maniac turn. His hand is just huge. I'm going to play N. I'm going to play N, and there's a strong energy. But the problem is that there is no sign of other things like a Marowak. But at least I can use my safeguard, strike for 40, grab 1 energy, and attach it to my Cubone number 2 on the bench with the XP share. I'm going to take 6 damage counters, which means that my opponent will be able to knock me out with the Moonlight Slash, but even with the John Waters Shuriken. Okay. Still the game is not over. There is N. If he misses a Greninja break, I'm gonna be happy, but he also don't have energy card in his hand, so it's everything is possible here. That's for sure. Well, he managed to get energy card, and I managed to pull 3 Marowaks and the Super Rod. But more than that, I don't have a Beazle hand, so I still need something as a top deck. Well, 1 Moonlight Slash for the knockout, of course, for 60. He decided to keep that energy on his Greninja. I will put my Jolteon in front just because it's a free retreat Jolteon. More than that, Professor Sycamore top deck. Okay, I'm thinking somehow about taking a risk with my Boomerang here. So, in theory, with 1 heads on the coin flip, you know, with 1 heads on the coin flip, I can just knock out my opponent Greninja. But probably that's not gonna happen, and somehow I'm just thinking about playing that Super Rod so I can recycle myself back. Marowak break, another Cubone, maybe even, yeah, pretty much I need to bring back 1 Carbink, and I simply don't want to do that, but I need. More than that, 1 more Marowak, and simply I'm forced to bring another Marowak here and play. And the question is, do I really want to attach that energy? Nope, because I'm searching for the strong energy here. If I miss energy completely, I'm gonna be... okay, there is energy card, but... still 2 heads on the coin flip is something that I need. So, let's see if I can get enough luck here to shock my opponent with my knockout. So yeah, oof, if that was just a strong energy, that Greninja would be knocked out. Let's see. 1 heads, 2 hits. Okay, at least 140. So Greninja is knocked out. Oh my gosh. Alright, so 140, another Marowak. And the good thing is that right now, if he knock out my Marowak, I'm gonna be able to keep 2 energies with that XP share down to my bench. So what that means, he definitely needs to get that Greninja break in play, because it's gonna be so hard for him to do something here. Professor Sycamore, huge Professor Sycamore for 7. Let's see if he can get that Greninja break. I definitely need my Marowak break for the next turn so I can respawn for 40. 40 plus. I think I'm gonna be short for maybe 10. I'm gonna be fine if he miss Greninja break here, that's for sure. Without Greninja break, I'm gonna be fine. With Greninja break, I'm definitely not gonna be fine, but let's see. It looks like my opponent does not have Greninja break in his hand, so this might be okay. Shadow Snitching just for 40. No ability play for me. No ability play for me, guys. But that means that I'm going to play my Special Charge here, or maybe still it's not time to play Special Charge. However, I do have Ultra Ball in my hand, so I'm thinking about discarding, you know, 1 copy of N and 1 copy of Pokémon Ranger for Marowak break. So how much damage I can do with my Marowak break? 20 plus 40, so I can go for 120. 120 is the most damage counters I can do in this situation, and basically I can strike for 120, he has Greninja on the bench. Or I can just attack active one. Somehow I'm just thinking about attaching Float Stone and playing my Special Charge here so I can recycle myself Strong Energy back into my deck. I mean, 40, he took 2 prize cards, so I can strike for 120. I'm short for 1 Strong Energy, so I can basically knock out his Greninja here. The problem is, yeah, I'm going all in here. Who cares? Let's just go with the end. I'm going all in. Strong Energy is here, so that means only one thing. I can knock out right now his Greninja break. His Greninja, not the Greninja break. And after he knocks me out next turn... Okay, Bone Revenge. Okay, so this is gonna be knockout, which means that he have only 1 Greninja left in play. And I do have that XP share, which will allows me to basically get that energy on my Marowak, so I can get myself Marowak break and strike for 140. Still, I'm gonna be short for like 30. But maybe I can pull somehow Strong Energy and Giovanni scheme, you know, and basically from nowhere knock out my opponent Greninja break. So it's even question if he's gonna be able to get Greninja break in play. If he misses Greninja break, the game is completely over for my opponent, and I'm getting a victory with my Marowak break against Greninja break. So Marowak break is like $1 and Greninja break is like $15, so you can actually make comparison here and see how powerful actually and expensive Greninja is. So yeah, there's Professor Sycamore. Okay. The moment of truth, can he get Greninja break in play? Because if not, the game should probably be over, and there's a die ball, so right now he can actually get himself Greninja break. Use John Water Shuriken, knock out my Marowak break, and the most important thing, my XP share will not work in this situation, I think. Because John Water Shuriken, maybe it will. It's a damage, it's not a poison. Oh, so he sniped on the bench. Okay. Bursting Balloon, that was great, and Shadow Snitching for 40. So I can still have that energy on my Marowak. So I'm definitely looking forward for the Hex Maniac. Alright, so my turn. The top deck is a Carbink. If I put my Remoraid on the bench, this might not be a good option, but I can at least prevent my opponent from being able to use a John Water Shuriken with my Hex Maniac. So I have game plan here. This is gonna be a Hex Maniac, and this is gonna be 1 retreat. Either way, I can strike for 60, but I don't want to do that. I just want to use my sharp shooting and basically strike him with the sharp shooting for 30, which means I'm taking 6 damage counters, but next turn I can completely knock out his Greninja Break for sure. So he healed the damage. I actually shouldn't do that. Why did I do that? Right now he can Shadow Snitch me. Oh, but okay, still I'm gonna be fine. But if he get Frogadier and Greninja, no, I did a mistake. I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't attack him. Nope, I should just keep my Jolteon in front. Why did I do that? Oh my goodness, why did I do that? Oh no, you gotta be kidding me. No, Shadow Snitching, of course, but he misses Frogadier, at least. I need my Marowak break, or the game is over. Better be in my deck, because the game is gonna be over. Oh my gosh, Professor Sycamore, how many Ultra Balls did I play? 2 of them. You know, this is pretty much all in. I just need my Marowak break, and that's it. If I have my Marowak break in deck, I'm gonna be fine, because I can strike for 180 here. So I can knock out his Greninja. If I did my math right, so it's 20 plus 40 for each prize he took. Bone Revenge, so 180 if I'm correct. And that's a knockout. That's the knockout. That was all I really need. He misses opportunity to get Frogadier, he can Water Duplicate, and of course bring back a couple more Frogadiers, and even that Greninja to be able to knock me out. Where on the other side, I simply don't have another attacker. Well, there's Professor Sycamore and Energy, he can even bubble. He can even bubble, I guess, but he needs that Water Duplicate so badly. And 2 Frogadiers are in his discard pile, so I don't know if he had one more Frogadier in his hand or if it's just in... Oh, so he retreated! Okay, and a Bursting Balloon. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Well, there's a Brigette and Super Rod for me. I'm going to play back Cubone, 1 Marowak with, I don't know, with a Bone Windmill and 1 Marowak break, I guess. All I can do here is basically play my Brigette and put down 2 more Cubones on the bench, you know. I don't want to put that Eevee. If I decide to attack, I mean, I can use my... I can strike for 30 on the bench. I can strike for 30 on the bench, or I can just, you know, probably he have that Greninja, but yeah, he still need... I mean, it's gonna be over if I just attempt to knock out his Froakie here. So I need to sharp shooting 30 on the bench to his Frogadier, but that's just pretty much like I passed the turn here, you know, because of that Bursting Balloon. He buy himself a turn. There's a Greninja, so I need Lysandre top deck. I need something like a Lysandre top deck, and that's gonna be it. Octillery, top deck, and then Lysandre. VS Seeker, no VS Seeker. Okay, for 7, I guess. Well, still I can have that knockout here, which is a good sign. More than that, couple more Marowaks for me. I'm very scary about that. I'm very scary about my opponent Greninja break. That's for sure. So I need myself get that Octillery so I can basically win this match here. That Octillery is going to be a win for sure. So all I really need is attach my Strong Energy, knock out his Froakie, and he's just simply not going to be able basically to pull 2 prize cards here. He can knock out with the John Water Shuriken. No, he can't. Simply he can't. Simply he can't. So I can just go with my Bone Revenge for the knockout. I'm going to take 1 more prize here, and I will have that Oh no. Oh no. Oh, yeah, I will have that Marowak break. Yeah, it's okay. Whew. My goodness, there's Greninja break. There's one John Water Shurikane 60. Okay, he can play it. I have Octillery, so I'm fine with that. I'm definitely fine with that, but oh my god. I can just say that. Oh my god. I have that Octillery, so I'm gonna be able to get my Marowak break back and strike for 200 plus. Whew. I think this is one of my best games that I actually record on Pokemon TCG Online in a while. And he was forced to use his Moonlight Slash basically here. Because if he used Shadow Snitching, I'm not gonna be able to get cards with my Abyssal hand, but right now I can get exactly 4 cards with a Abyssal hand that I need, and there is one Marowak break, so I can just pretty much use my Marowak break and knock out his Greninja break and take my last prize with my Born Revenge for 260! Well guys, that was just insane. What else I can say? I managed to beat Greninja break with my Marowak break deck. So I'm definitely happy. On scale from 1 to 10, this is just 10. Once again, don't know what to say. Once again, guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more future videos. If you have any questions, as usual, don't forget to leave comments below. So, till the next time, have a nice day and goodbye.